What's up, everybody? It is I, the Goof, and I found this interesting to me. I thought it was something worth talking about because I've got a lot I want to say on the subject. So let's start off with a little back history. I grew up watching, like most people in the 80s, most kids in the 80s, watching a lot of animation. And at the time, in the 80s, for those who don't know, it was cross generational. And what I mean by that is we got shows from before the 80s that were in syndication. So we weren't just watching new shows in the 80s. We were watching old shows from legacy programming from the 50s and 60s and 70s. We were watching that in the 80s. So I got a bunch of stuff that I watched as a kid and I loved. Like there was stuff that wasn't new, but it was new to me at the time. And so I grew up with this I don't know how to say this palette of what I enjoy when it comes to animation, what I enjoy when it comes to just cartoons and even anime. My love of anime started in the 80s because for those who don't know, technically a lot of shows that were made in the 80s were animated in Japan and they were technically anime. Technically, if you want to be technical. Uh, Plus, I literally saw anime as a kid, like Speed Racer. So that's, cartoons and anime. And let me kind of differentiate something really quickly. There's a difference between anime and cartoons. There just is. There just is. So, uh, this is what I'm finding interesting, and I'm having a weird day, so bear with me while I get relaxed and get settled in. Oh, okay. So MeTV is launching a new 24/7 cartoon network. Really, it's called MeTV Tunes. It's coming in June. Now, for those of you who do or do not know, Cartoon Network is in a spiraling downturn. Like they are going to hell. All right. And there's a good reason why it's going to hell. There's a good reason why animation is in a downturn. And part of it is politics. Part of it is I'm so happy to see this guy back. Heathcliff. Oh my God. I love Heathcliff. Oh my God. Heathcliff was my jam growing up. Heathcliff was one of the shows I loved growing up in the 80s. He is an 80s character, by the way. Well, his cartoon was from the 80s. Heathcliff, Heathcliff, no one should terrify their neighborhood. But Heathcliff just won't be outdone playing pranks on. I'm not gonna sit here and keep going with it. But I grew up with old Heathcliff. I grew up with Heathcliff. I grew up with and then in the '90s there was Freakazoid and the Mask, which by the way these two characters are kind of similar. They just are. Um, but yeah, so there's a new Pie Pie. Love Pie Pie. I'm gonna just kind of talk about this. There's so much I want to say, and this video is gonna be a little long, but it's just something I want to get out. So I feel like the writing is on the wall for Cartoon Network. The last time I watched Cartoon Network, it was nothing but uh, it was nothing but Teen Titans Go. That was it. It was just Teen Titans Go over and 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 over again. And what's funny about this is that this is exactly how Cartoon Network started off. It started off just like a bunch of classic cartoons, and then they made Boomerang, and I think Boomerang's even gone. So this is all these classic cartoons, not just from God. There's two stupid dogs. That's like I think like a '90s cartoon, and it's a good '90s cartoon, by the way. It's very good. It's very funny. I loved it. There's a guy on there. He would go, "Well, isn't that cute?" But it's wrong. It was always There was always an episode where they would sit there and say something, or show something and he would just be like, he would just laugh and go, well, isn't that cute? And then he'd scream, but it's wrong. And of course, Taz, the Looney Tunes, Hanna-Barbera. This is all being licensed from Discovery Warner Brothers to MeTV for a new network. And it's going to be over the air. It's like antenna. And I'm like, wait, what? For real? So now I'm like, I've got streaming service because I got tired of there being nothing good on TV. I couldn't get the animation I wanted anymore. Here's my question. What does the FCC have to say about this? Because the FCC kept insisting that any shows that have like animation, that they have educational programming, quote unquote. Oh God, it's so ridiculous. So let's kind of read about this real quick. MTV announced, I mean, MeTV. Why am I saying MTV? MeTV announces a Toons network, a free channel dedicated to classic animation. In what is quite possibly the most exciting news in years for fans of classic American animation, Chicago-based, I can't pronounce this, Weigel Broadcasting Company has announced the launch of a free 24/7 animation network dedicated exclusively to classic animation from theatrical animation shorts to TV series. MeTV Toons, a spinoff of Weigel's nostalgic TV channel MeTV, is being launched in collaboration with Warner Brothers Discovery and will feature cartoons from throughout the Warner Brothers Discovery's library, including characters like Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, Scooby Doo, Tom and Jerry, Josie and the Pussycats, George Jetson, Top Cat, Popeye, Freakazoid, Yogi Bear, Johnny Quest, Fred Flintstone. Warner Brothers calls Wiggle one of its long-standing and innovative licensing partners. The network will additionally license cartoons from other companies, and its lineup will include Rocky and Bullwinkle, Woody Woodpecker, Casper, Inspector Gadget. Oh my God, Inspector Gadget. Oh, I'm gonna be, even though I have streaming now and I have what is it called? I have we have a Chromecast in there. Even though we have that, I'm gonna be switching to live antenna just to watch this channel because I do like watching an actual channel, and I don't mind commercials. I got tired of somebody who prefers animation. I got tired of watching television and being fed a bunch of garbage that I don't give an absolute fuck about. I'm gonna curse. I don't give an absolute fuck about a lot of the bullshit that keeps coming from like Fox. Fox sucks. I'm not sorry for saying that. I hate Fox television. Like I would watch, and here in Texas, I'm near Houston, so it's Fox 26. All of a sudden, there's stupid ass shows like 911 and or something like that, and then there's oh God, the Masked Singer and all that shit. I don't care about that goddamn shit. I absolutely don't give an absolute fuck about that shit. It's garbage. They had for a while there, they had the Orville. I tuned in for that every episode. I was so happy for it. Then they tossed it on streaming services. Like morons. Like morons, Fox. Like morons. You're morons. Oh, so then they threw it over to Fox. Or they threw it over to, no, Hulu, sorry. Fox threw it over to Hulu for streaming because Disney got hold of them, and it's stupid. It's a whole stupid mess. There's nothing I watch on regular TV anymore. I've been watching The Connors, and it turns out they're fixing to have their seventh and final season. And I'm like, are you kidding me? The Connors is over, which is, it started off as Roseanne. I know that has nothing to do with what's going on here, but I'm trying to give you a good scope and a scope of the situation and a good idea of what's going on. I'm a very picky person when it comes to what I enjoy on TV and what I want to watch. And so you can understand why when I got broadband, I was like, oh, well, I'm done watching television. I'm just going to watch streaming shit. Because that's one of the things I love about streaming. I can find channels on there and they'll just be showing all kinds of animated shows that I love. I mean, I watched Transformers animated the other day, and I watched a bunch of that and I was like, this is so good. This is so fun. I stopped watching television because live television stopped giving a shit about what people like me wanted to watch. But anyhow, let's keep reading this. The list of studios that will be represented on the network is essentially a who's who of animation history, including Warner Brothers, MGM, Paramount Pictures, Fleischer Studios, um, Walter Lantz Productions, Terry Toons, Productions of America, J Ward Productions, Hanna-Barbera Studios, Universal Studios, and Columbia Pictures. Hell, maybe we'll get some more stuff from the 80s. I mean, I grew up in the 80s. I like that cross-generational thing that I was talking about before. I like watching, I would like to watch, because they're going to have Inspector Gadget on there. They also got to put some other stuff on there. Again, the question goes back to FCC. What are they saying about this? FCC's had these rules at one point about animated shows on television at one point and protecting children and having educational stuff for children. We don't have Saturday mornings anymore, for fuck's sakes. We don't have that anymore. I know I'm a full grown adult, but I'm pretty sure there's other adults out there who liked Saturday mornings even as they got older. Everything has been snatched away from us. Just that it's a part of that Americana pie. All right, it's a huge ingredient of Americana that's been yanked out of the Americana out of American pie. I don't know. My metaphors are all effed up right now. I'm sorry. I'm doing my best, but it's that experience of Americana that's been yoinked from society. All right, so I'm just wondering if how the FCC is reacting to this because I don't know. I don't know. Anyhow, Columbia Pictures is interesting because that could include Ghostbusters. I'm just saying. So, but I've got that on box set. Doesn't really matter, but still. MTV Toons will benefit from the expertise of legendary animation historian and Cartoon Brew co founder Jerry Beck, who will help produce original content that will expand the viewing experience and add context to the cartoons being aired. Another key hire at the network is veteran voice actor Bob Bergen, who has often voiced Warner Brothers characters like Porky Pig, Tweety, and Marvin the Martian. Bergen will serve as the signature voice of the network. In other words, he's like a narrator and whatnot. He's probably going to be in the bumps and everything like that between commercials and whatnot. So that's cool. In a presentation Saturday, Neil Saban, vice chairman of Weagle, I don't know how to pronounce that, broadcasting company, explained the reason for launching this new network, and it largely has to do with the popularity of the Saturday morning animation block on the existing MeTV channel. In the fourth quarter of 2023, he reported that MeTV's cartoon block outperformed Seinfeld and The Office on Comedy Central, Law and Order on USA, and Friends on Nick at Night in the 25 to 54-year old demographic. So this isn't really aimed at kids, but I'm sure kids will enjoy it. This is aimed at the adults who grew up on this stuff and want to watch this stuff. Right? Anybody from 25 to 54. All right? Yo, that's me right here, right now. That's me. I'm 43. I'll be 44 in August. That's me right there. That's me. That's me. I fit in that bracket. So this isn't really necessarily aimed at children, even though children will probably want to watch it. This is aimed at adults. This is aimed at people who grew up with a lot of animation and want to watch animation. There's a lot planned, more than you even see right now. Not only the classic cartoons, the classic characters, but shows and series and shorts that haven't been seen in 25, 30, 40, 50 years are going to make their re-debut on this channel. For people like me, cartoonaholics, this will blow your mind. I hope so. I look forward to it. I absolutely look forward to it. Let's see. Some of the programming on the network includes Cartoon College, and overseen by Beck. This is a series of original inter interstitials that will explore interesting facts and little known aspects of characters, creators, and cartoons shown on the network. Um, Quick shticks spread throughout the daily program will be clips of cartoon characters' most iconic scenes. MeTV Tunes will launch June 25th, 2024. That's next month. The network will be available for multi platform distribution on over the air broadcast television, traditional MVPDs, multi channel video programming distributions, and virtual MVPDs, along with a complimentary offering for ad supported streaming services. Okay. Weagle Broadcasting's other broadcast networks include MeTV, Heroes and Icons, Star TV, Catchy Comedy Movies, Story Television, and Dabble. And I'm pretty aware of most of those channels. Cartoon Network is on the way out. Cartoon Network is dying. There's people like Rebecca Sugar who can go to hell as far as I'm concerned, she can rot in hell. Rebecca Sugar can absolutely suffer because she and other people like her, I feel like, are why the animation industry is in the toilet. Okay? They're woke ideological buffoons that jumped into this to spread their political shit. And I'm not sorry when I say most people don't care about politics in their entertainment. We don't care. We want good storytelling. We want fun stories. We want fun entertainment. We don't want it bogged down with cringy ideological bullshit. We just don't. That goes for games too. This is a sign of what's changing. It's a sign of what these people are doing to the industry. It's a sign of how we're seeing things just die. Um, because these people jumped into the industry with their no talent selves, no talent, just ideological bullshit views, right? Um, they jumped in and they disrupted everything. They're doing it to video games too. There's also a bit of greed at play. So from what I understand, Boomerang is gone. In fact, let me actually look that up. Let's look up Boomerang. No. Oh, there we go. Boomerang TV network. Is it still around? Does it still exist? I'm going to be surprised if it still exists. Does it still exist? Does Boomerang still exist? Everybody was saying that it was dead, that Boomerang died. Did Boomerang die? There's Wikipedia. Uh, oh, oh, okay. So it launched December 8th, 1992, 31 years ago. April 1st, 2000, 24 years ago, the channel. Oh, it was a block, probably on Cartoon Network. Then it became a channel in, okay. And then it closed up and went away. The block. Oh, the block went away 19 years ago. And it was a former Boomerang from cartoons. Is it dead? Is it gone? Let me see. Ended, gone, died. I don't know. I'm hearing that the channel's gone. I don't know how true that is. Um, I haven't been I don't have cable, so I haven't watched Boomerang in forever. Here's the other thing that bugged me about Boomerang is you couldn't just get it with Cartoon Network. You had to pay extra for your cable package to watch Boomerang. So if you wanted more cartoon shows, you had to pay for this extra fee. I hated satellite and cable because of this. That's why I didn't want it. When I got the fiber that I have right now, when I got the fiber that I got, they were trying to get me to get television. This is why I didn't get television. I didn't give a flying fuck. because it was just going to be more of that bullshit where they charge you out the ass for anything you might want. Like there's no way to sit there and tell them exactly what channel you want and pay for that channel. There's never been an option for that. If they would have had an option for that to where you could assemble the perfect package for you, say you want to just pay maybe 15 bucks and just get a few cartoon channels, you want to get a few, channels that have animation or whatnot. There was no option to do that. There's never been an option to do that. That is one of the biggest downfalls of cable and satellite television. This is why I like streaming so much better. I feel like I've got more control over what I have and what I pay for and what I watch, so on and so forth. I hope you're getting it. So I don't know if Boomerang's dead or not, but I feel like we're gonna see a similar thing going on in uh video games and other sources of media. The oldies but goodies. That's what people are going back to. We're watching the older stuff. We're ready to watch older animation and share it with our kids because the old animation was better. We've lost our way. Storytelling has gone downhill, way downhill. Where people are coming in like Rebecca Sugar. The Cartoon Network headquarters closed down. There is no Cartoon Network anymore. Or as far as the studio thing goes, the building that they had, the offices, it's gone. So I don't know. I don't know if there's some confusion there. I thought they opened a new Cartoon Network building, and that was just the old building that closed down. But I was in the hospital not long ago. I had what we thought was a stroke, right? When I had that stroke, I was in there watching television, and I just stopped on Cartoon Network, and I kept seeing absolute fucking garbage. It was constantly Teen Titans Go, and it was also weird shows like Craig of the Creek or some shit like that. It was horrible animation, horrible art style. It looked a little like Cal Arts, bean mouths and shit. It was so fucking terrible. The storytelling was so fucking terrible. It was just a shit show. Watching that channel, watching that network, and being subjected to all this terrible programming, the only thing I could think of while watching it every now and then at random was I miss Ed, and Eddie. What happened to Ed, and Eddie? I wish they'd show Ed, and Eddie. Then, of course, at night while I was in the hospital, what was it was the late night block. It wasn't all that great either. It wasn't all that great either. Adult Swim wasn't all that great. So I think the writing's on the wall. I think ever since Discovery bought Warner Brothers, they've been trying to figure out a way to consolidate things, cancel things, get rid of things. There's things that they just don't care about. And I think one of those things is animation. They don't care about cartoons. Well, we have this backlog of tons of stuff. Let's just, let's push that out. I'm hoping we get, hell, I would love to see some Tiny Toons and what is that other show that I love so much? Oh, there's another show I used to love to watch. Animaniacs and Tiny Toons and just anything from way back when and even through the 90s. Hell, maybe we'll get some action shows. Maybe we'll get some shows like, Batman the Animated Series and whatnot like that from the 90s. It is a pretty great time to be alive. I'm going to say that right now. I can't wait to watch this network. But I believe we're going to eventually see these kind of things heading into video games as well and whatnot. We're already seeing it in movies. When the woke, when the ideological bullshit gets and the ideological turrets keep invading our entertainment, all they're doing is disrupting it in such a way that it dies, that it shifts. And then people will go, you know what? I think I'll just go play I'll just play some old Super Nintendo games. I'll hunt down a bunch of ROMs for an older, outdated console and I'll play that. I'm tired of what the industry has become. And it's not just their fault. It's not just the woke ideological dipshits that are ruining entertainment. It's not just them. It's greed. It's tons of greed without any care of the art. Let me just talk about something else real quick. I've been watching a YouTube channel called Orbital Beacon or Bacon, something like that. And he shows old anime. This shit is so good and it's stuff I never even knew existed. The animation and detail is superb. It's so good, and it just makes me realize that we've reached our peak in the past. The peak is over with. We are now in a downward turn. And part of that is literally just greed, not wanting to pay fair wages to animators and whatnot. But the other part of that is just woke ideological BS. And then we have a lot of companies that are banking on AI to replace actual people. I'm like, are you kidding me? So I don't know. It's both interesting and terrifying at the same time. I have some optimism, and on the one hand, I have some optimism. On the other hand, I feel like shit's about to get real bad, real quick when it comes to these things. I don't know how right I am. I don't know. I don't know. But I think we're fixing to see Cartoon Network just close completely. The no channel. They're going to get rid of that. They're going to get rid of Boomerang. Both of them's going to shut down. We're going to see people, more people, kind of like Rebecca Sugar, just trying to hawk shit on online. Are going to be on Twitter crying and moaning and bitching and pissing about shit. And in a way, it's going to be fun to see because fuck them. That's why. Because fuck people like Rebecca Sugar. She can go to hell. I feel like her ideological bullshit. I mean, I watched she did Steven Universe, and Steven Universe started out cute. It was a cute little show I watched, and I was like, this is nice. He's got these adopted parents that are like lady superheroes looking after him. I'm like, that's cool. That's cool. And then there was the episode where they fused. Does anybody remember watching that? There was an episode where they had a fuse. Let's see if I Oh, let me see if I can. So, this is the first time I remember a fusion happening in Steven Universe. Watch how inappropriate it is. It's very suggestive, very just. It's not something that should have been aired, in my opinion. This is when I knew the show was not as cute as I was first poised to believe. I've got the audio muted, but yeah, watch how this is very, yeah, see, and she even covers his eyes like, this looks inappropriate. Watch her. Just watch. Yeah, this is just, now watch. See, and spreads, and that is when I knew that the show was terribly wrong, terribly inappropriate, and didn't need to exist. That's when I knew. That's when I knew that it didn't need to be, and that it was produced by someone who wasn't right in the head. And the show continually as I tried to watch it proved me right. It just kept getting weirder and weirder. It kept getting more and more mature, and it kept making me more and more uncomfortable. So yeah, I definitely feel like the ideologues, or however you say them, they kind of had this coming. They pushed their way into these industries. They didn't necessarily disrupt, except for they just basically have caused a ripple effect. I think we're going to see more people have less interest in buying games that keep coming out. I mean, I don't think Nintendo's got anything to worry about, but the other companies do. So we're going to see fewer and fewer people buying a lot of games and whatnot. They're going to play older stuff. We're going to see fewer and fewer people watching, new. We see fewer and fewer people watching new animation, or even giving a damn about it. We see fewer and fewer people just indulging in things because we have hacks that are in charge, hacks that come in, and yeah, and I hate to sound like a right wing nut, which I'm not. I'm a moderate. If this was the right that was doing it, if this was somebody trying to shoehorn in a bunch of bullshit about, you know, your right to bear arms and shit into a kid show, I would have a problem with that too. That's what I'm just trying to say. I don't think either side of the political spectrum, anybody who has any sort of political ideologies I don't feel like they belong in these sorts of in the entertainment industry. We don't need this shoved into our entertainment. It just shouldn't belong. It shouldn't be there. I don't like these types. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of extremists getting into my entertainment and screwing it over, regardless of what side of the political spectrum. And again, if they were a bunch of right wing lunatics, I would have just as much to complain about. If they were injecting ideologies about, guns and whatnot into, you know, entertainment, I'd have the same issue. So this has been a 30-minute video. I couldn't help it. I had to talk about this. I had to. This needed to be said. This needed to be spoke about. It's ridiculous. I can't be the only one who feels this way. I can't be the only one who just feels like this is expected. We're going to see more stuff like this happen. I think eventually we're going to see more people spend less money on certain entertainment. We see it in the movie industry already. People are very selective. I'm very selective. I did not like the reboot of Ghostbusters. I thought it was terrible. Uh, and likewise, I don't care for a lot of stuff going on in the gaming industry. So, but when we got Ghostbusters, uh, Afterlife, and Frozen Empire, I was all for it because they moved away from the ideology BS. Granted, we still have a female lead, but it's not terrible, in my opinion. But anyhow, this has been the Goop. I don't know how good of a video this is gonna make, but here it is. Enjoy, and I'm out. Please rate, comment, subscribe. I'm pretty sure people are going to disagree with me. I'm pretty sure I'm going to ruffle some feathers by saying that Rebecca Sugar should go to hell, but I don't care. I don't care. Please direct comments telling me how terrible I am for saying that about Rebecca Sugar. Direct those comments to a brick wall because fuck you, I don't care. I'm out. This has been the Goof. I'm done.